Welcome to those just joining us. We have almost 40 people joining so far. Great turnout to celebrate the amazing work of the Pop-Up Childcare Showcase program. And yeah, looking forward to diving in. We have a lot of great speakers here today, so got a good program ahead. So I'll just start in a few minutes. Okay, why don't we get started and kick things off, and other folks will join us as they are able. Thank you so much for being with us today to share the amazing work of the past 3 years of the Pop-Up Childcare Showcase work led by the Pacific Immigrant Resource Society, and specifically 3 amazing women who are with us today who will share the story of their work. I'll share with immense gratitude that I personally am located on the unceded territory of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. I'm very privileged to be able to do my work on this territory every day, and grateful for the land that brings me energy, as in this time of COVID, walks are a big excitement and privilege, and so being able to walk in the beautiful nature around my home brings me immense energy and joy. So grateful to the people who have kept this land over all of these years. We are a big group of people today, and so we're going to try to make this as engaging as possible for you. I know it can be challenging engaging on a big call, so we'll have some breakout groups later, but wanted to just start off with a little survey on how have you engaged with Pop-Up Childcare so far to date, so that you can give us a sense of who's in the room, who's in this Zoom room together. So if you can pop into the chat, there's a link there, and you should be able to click how you've engaged with Pop-Up Childcare thus far. And hopefully your engagement with Pop-Up will just continue to grow through this event and beyond. So if you have any troubles, let us know. We did also want to acknowledge that the Office of the Honorable Katrina Chen, Minister Chen, have sent us their best wishes for this event. So they have staff representing the event, and we're really grateful, as this is such an important topic to be bringing to a provincial and a national level. We're really grateful that they are in support of this event. So Katrina Chen has shared wishing us great success for today's event. And yeah, this is a topic of, as I said, provincial and national relevance. And COVID has more than ever shown us the need of having affordable, accessible, timely, kind of responsive childcare to meet the needs of families across Canada. And so we're grateful for their support and for the work of the Pop-Up Childcare program today. So yeah, Pop-Up is, the team is really a story of resilience. The team has gone through a lot over the years to get the program to where it is today. So today is a feature of that work. We will hear from Geeta Chud, who's from the PIRS board. The Pop-Up team will share story of the work that they've been doing to champion childcare accessibility and quality in the Lower Mainland region. We'll hear from clients and graduates from the different programs that the Pop-Up team has run. We will hear from our childcare advocate, Sharon Gregson, as well, from $10 a day. We'll do some interactive activity and how we can kind of support the future of Pop-Up, because the formal funding for this work is coming to a close, but the work of Pop-Up is nowhere near the end. So excited to kind of keep it going forward after this. And then at the end, we also have a video premiere that Thea Alba will be sharing on the Learning Journeys program, which is another program of the Pacific Immigrant Resources Society. And so stay tuned and stick with us right to the end for that video premiere. And I see a lot of people popping up how they've been involved in the chat. So that's really amazing. Thank you. And really exciting to see that so far of the people that responded to the small survey we sent out said that they're 67% are new to pop-up. So that's amazing. We're excited to share the work today, and great to also have some clients and customers, as well as childcare workers and parents here today. We don't have too many funders yet tagging their responses on the Slido. So hopefully some people with deep pockets will come forward also to help carry this amazing work forward. Thanks, Haley. Great, so I'm now honored to pass the torch to Geeta Chud. Geeta has been a PIRS board member for nearly 40 years, and her professional world has focused on early childhood education, where she served as a faculty, program coordinator, and dean of continuing studies at Vancouver Community College. She's an author, advocate, and a passionate connector of people and ideas. So please welcome Geeta.
Thank you so very much, Annalise. Delighted to be here today and join in the celebration. When Annalise noted that I've been involved for nearly 40 years, I'm not sure if some of our what we call founder circle members are here with us today. But when I think back to the early days of PIRS, and this year we are actually celebrating our 45th anniversary, what people like Bev Nan, who really was the original source behind this, Patsy George, Marianne Bird, learned in the early days of PIRS was that there were many women who wanted to be able to join our programs and activities, yet the barrier was that they didn't have childcare for their little ones. So I was asked to join in and help in the, initiation of the children's component of PIRS activity. As I became to know more about the organization and what I choose to call the MVV, Mission, Vision, and Values, I just formed a loving relationship, joined the board, and still remain on the board. The issue of childcare, and I know Sharon will address this later, so relates to the MVV, Mission, Vision, and Values of PIRS, because we talk about the invaluable contributions of immigrant and refugee women, promoting enrichment of their lives, empowering them and their children to fully participate in Canadian life in a neighborhood-based, inclusive, accessible way. Our values about diversity, respect, outreach, accountability, collaboration are so grounded in the Pop-Up Childcare Initiative. So when this idea of the pop-up came first to the board, we were all extremely excited. Not only was it a new adventure for PIRS, it at the same time was a very new initiative to try and better serve our community. And in that regard, we have a lot of people, who were, partners, collaborators, had the service come to their various events. So I know that Martha Scully is with us today. I just saw Martha's photo a little bit ago. And so as we were developing, building, envisioning what pop-up childcare would and could look like, Martha would often attend our board meetings and share, based on her own background, a lot of ideas going forward, business plans, potential funders, how we would market, how we would profile the pop-up child care. So this new initiative began with complete support from the board and a learning about a very new avenue where PIRS could and would and did take the lead. At the time, PIRS was very well connected with Vancouver Community College in regard to several educational programs offered for immigrant refugee women and PIRS clients. Sorry, my phone, turn it off. In that regard, we offered through this partnership what was called the Early Childhood Assistant Program, providing the women who came to the VCC with a number of attitudes, knowledge, and skills that would then enable them to be paid professional staff in a child care center. Uh, I'm delighted that we use the term childcare rather than daycare, because in my own learning, lifelong journey of learning, I remember a while ago reading a very short piece online where a woman in the States said that she met her daughter for dinner every once in a while, and her daughter was the manager of a very large childcare facility. So they're sitting at the table in the restaurant, and the mother says to the daughter, "So, how's everything at the daycare?" To which her daughter replies, "Mom, we don't take care of the day. It's child care." That really has stayed with me in my heart and my head. And it's true, isn't it? We change the language and it changes our thinking. So when pop-up childcare began, we were able to offer employment to the women who had taken the VCC Early Childhood Assistant Program. And even in the day, again, thanks to our activism and advocacy, the hourly pay rate was 17 an hour, which in fact was to a large degree much higher salary rate than the vast majority of early childhood educators, even with their full certificate or diploma, were gaining. So the three key themes that have always been at the foundation of the childcare world are high quality, affordability, and accessibility. And I think these themes were very much lifted up in this new, now 3-year-old young venture. While I began with the MVV, mission, vision, and values, I'd like to conclude with another favorite little acronym of mine, the 4 Ps. The 4 Ps stand for personal, professional, political, and public. And again, I think the pop-up initiative really, truly is grounded in these. For so many women who actually worked with the program and supported it, for so many mothers and families who were able to access this program such that they could attend other events or programs or activities in the larger community, it had a great personal meaning. From a professional standpoint, we were able to, in partnership with VCC, prepare women with a certification that then enabled them to move forward in the early childhood world. And we did learn later that a number of them, having completed the assistant program, went on to register to do their full certificate and diploma work. In
Thanks
terms
so
of
much,
the,
Geeta. I just want to make sure we have time to get the voices of the
okay, I'll be super
leads.
quick.
So
The,
yeah,
the
thanks so
third
much.
The third is political, and that's with a small p, in the sense that we know it's political advocacy to promote quality, affordability, and accessibility, and public in the way that we have through this program tremendously served the public. So I'm thrilled the session is called Showcase, because once we had feedback, I think last year, from one of our funders who said, PIRS needs to blow its own horn a little bit more. You're too humble. So using the term showcase, I think really lifts it up. So sorry that I've gone on too long. Thank you.
No, that was amazing, Geeta, and really sets the stage for today and shares that history of the work and where it's come from. This is not an innovation that popped out of nowhere. There's a lot of groundwork that's been laid. So thank you so much, Geeta. We're now going to have the team that's been leading the pop-up childcare work share the work and what they've brought forward. So Patricia, you get to kick us off.
Yes, thank you so much, Annalise. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. It is a pleasure to be finally here. We've been planning this event for a long time, and I can't even believe it's been 3 years with this project. We feel so connected with this project. It's like a baby for each one of us. It's a very special project. We are very passionate about this and about PIRS. We support it completely, and we've been trying so many things for this project that you will see. You will see a showcase in a few minutes. And as Geeta was talking, it made me reflect so much on PIRS and the job that PIRS has been doing since 1975. I want to acknowledge the fact that many people sign up to be here with us and sharing this special time with us. So thank you to each one of you. So PIRS, this organization is definitely, it's been playing a role in the immigrants' lives for so long, since 1975, as I mentioned, helping immigrant and refugee women to adapt easily or more easily to their lives in Canada. With fully participation, Geeta used the term collaboration, respect, inclusivity, diversity. So those are all the things that we've been working so hard for so long to make it accomplished. And as an immigrant woman myself, being in contact with so many people that are just arriving to Canada, or they've been here for a few years, different circumstances, we all have something in common. It's a lot of resilience, and it's a lot of the willingness to go past the bumps and try to make our lives better in this amazing country. So being part of this team, being part of the pop-up and PIRS has made me really happy, and it has given me a lot of meaning. And I'm really happy to share it today with you. So the pop-up is a 3-year project funded by IRCC, the Immigrant, Refugee and Citizenship Canada. We're really happy and grateful with the government that approved this initiative, and we've been able to provide care in the settlement sector, mostly to provide training for immigrant and refugee women, and to employ these women, or provide also better skills for them in the long run about their employment. So some of the objectives about this initiative was to solve the problem of childcare in the settlement sector. And how do we do that? As you see it in the picture, that is a class of, I was teaching actually, I was a facilitator for the responsible adult. So we use a community space at Collingwood Neighborhood House. This is pre-COVID. We had a class of around 20 students, maybe 18. at Collingwood from different parts of the world. We had 150 applicants to get to this cohort. It was a free training, including first aid, food safe, provided by Work BC. So this is a work that we do in partnership with other agencies, so we can actually do this training. And it was wonderful. All these women were so engaged and willing to learn all the early learning objectives of the training. So we came up with a beautiful curriculum that is so comprehensive, and it includes so many areas of child development, safety, nutrition, and all the things that they need to know. And many of them have such a entrepreneurial spirit that they're looking forward to even open family daycare spaces in their communities, in their neighborhoods. So that's solving that problem, making people more skilled and making people more confident when they apply for jobs, and knowing the ins and outs of the industry has given many of these women a lot of tools to become professionals in the early learning and the childcare industry. And obviously, this allows them a well-being feeling, more adaptability for them and their children, and understanding the system a lot better. So one of the outcomes that we, as you see in this circle, so all these three pieces come together. And this is a very nice way to put it out there, because this has always been our focus, to have all these pieces together, coming together, ingrained into one big circle of connection. So starting with the training piece, so we had a partnership with BCC, and we trained a group of also wonderful women for the EC assistant. That was a very successful cohort. They all graduated, and before the graduation day, they all have job offers. So it was wonderful. We're going to be hearing one of the experiences from one of them, specifically representing the class. So we created the EC Pathways program. That is the training program within the pop-up childcare. So that was a successful one and inspired us to continue. We couldn't do the ECA for different circumstances, but we continue with different cohorts with a responsible adult. We did in partnership with Kiwasa, and we also did it on our own at Collingwood Neighborhood House, and online training after COVID pandemic. So another piece of the circle is the employment and the quality childcare. So the industry, throughout these 3 years, we have noticed some gaps in this industry. So we need to train these women to have more skills and be ready to work in this industry, and have more knowledge and more experience. And at the same time, when they finish and they have their certification, whether for an EC assistant certificate or they have a responsible adult certificate, we send them to some different works. And in the settlement sector, unfortunately, the budgets are so tight that sometimes it's really hard for different agencies to afford to pay a living wage, what we call it a living wage. And so that's one of the reasons we are also here. So when we train these women and we offer employment to them to work, whether for PIRS or the pop-up childcare, we make sure that we offer them a wage that is sustainable and that is livable, and is a living wage. And therefore they offer a quality care that is well needed in the settlement sector as well as in the private sector. So the childcare business and the childcare industry is screaming for change and is screaming for quality. So everybody in the different sectors deserve to be provided quality service. So child minding, which is unregulated care, it needs to be treated as well as the regulated care with professionals that know what they're doing, they know how to treat children, they know how to run a space, providing materials and equipment age appropriate and all those sort of things. So we're happy that we did it, and we got to experience the different aspects of this care. Okay, so I'm gonna give the microphone to my coworker, Arlene. She's gonna be speaking a little bit more about the process.
So how are these objectives and outcomes achieved? So first, PIRS did a user-centric research and design by conducting 3 learning labs on February 2019. A total of 41 childcare workers and newcomer women attended. And then on March 2019, a hackathon was also conducted among entrepreneurs, professionals, newcomer women, and childcare workers. So as Gita mentioned earlier, this resulted to creating pathways to employment. And what's unique to the ECEA program that Patty also mentioned is a lower Canadian language benchmark or CLB requirement. So the immigrant women had an opportunity to improve their English as an additional language while undergoing the childcare training. And then in partnership with Kiwasa Neighborhood House, 7 cohorts of women, mostly have experienced forms of violence, abuse, and trauma, also graduated as responsible adults. And we'll hear more about this later from Mr. Guerrero of Kiwasa. Patty also mentioned earlier about ECE pathways. And what made this program different from the responsible adult training offered by other organizations is the English component to improve their reading, writing, speaking, and learning skills. So in addition, the women had first aid and food safe trainings made possible by Work PC through our partnership with Mosaic. And so 18 immigrant and refugee women graduated in person before the March lockdown. And you can see the picture at the bottom. And I think we all miss group pictures like this right now. And 26 women graduated online last December 2020. So in order to assist settlement agencies with their childminding needs, PIRS tested a mobile childcare social enterprise. By just informing us of the program date, time, and number of children, we provided trauma-informed childcare staff plus play-based children's program with developmentally appropriate toys. So the settlement program manager can just focus more on their adult participants' needs. And can you guess how many hours of childcare has PIRS provided since July 2019? We're gonna put in the link in the chat box so you can send us your answer. Thank you.
How many hours of childcare has Pop-Up provided? Let's see if you can guess. I will continue showing you some pictures. I love this part because it really showcases all our experiences, and you can see through pictures more than words what we've been doing. This picture here is an event. So the Pop-Up was getting a lot of popularity before COVID, and we felt so heartbroken when the pandemic hit us because we got a lot of events canceled, and many people lost their hours, and it was just really, really challenging to continue with the project after the pandemic. But before, we did an amazing job at getting different agencies, nonprofit sector, for-profit sector. We were getting a lot of attention, and this event here for a client, the city of Vancouver was our client. They called us and we had a schedule of events, and this one specifically was in February. It was a conference at the Orpheum Theater. So they had a lot of phone calls from people participating in the conference asking for, okay, do you have a nanny service? Do you have a childcare service? Can we bring the children? It was at night. And they heard about the Pop-Up, they call us, and then we managed to go there with all our equipment and with our tables, our chairs, our buggies, and everything to carry all of these amazing materials and toys for the ages between 18 months and school age. So it is a mixed age group, that the group of children that we work with and that we service. So they gave us the bar at the Orpheum Theater. For if you know this theater is beautiful. When we went to assess the room and make sure that it was safe and it was suitable to take care of children, we were amazed of the beautiful features of the theater. And we were like, oh, wow, we need to bring so many things. And we were excited. So we took the challenge. We cover the bar area. We cover the access to the glass windows. We just, we were situated in a way that the children have access only through one door. So all the safety issues were covered. And as you can see on the picture on the left, we have the buggy there and all the equipment. And then we set it up into the little area. So they don't do justice here, but in person you could see sensorial material. You can see a little sun table, and you can see books and a table with books and some resting area. So they have a little area also to throw balls, and it was fantastic. We really enjoy it. The next one, I can see Martha Scully here, our former manager for the project. She's here present in this showcase. Martha probably remembers this. This event, a Feminist Deliver Conference, was held in Vancouver in 2019 at the, raise up your hand if you're from Vancouver and if you're familiar with this location, 312 Main. This was the old police station. So they were running this 3-day event at this location. It was a police station, and in the basement level, they have the little offices, and this is an interrogation room that they could actually, was the only room that they could actually give us to take care of the children. So the organizer said, many of these women are coming with their children. We need somebody to take care of these children. Can you guys provide care? They called PIRS. We were working with the pop-up project. So that was an exciting event. And again, we transformed the area. We decorated the walls. We put everything. It was a pop-up childcare right there. So we took some area rugs. We covered the tables with some paper. We lots of arts and crafts material. You can see the workers right there interacting with the children. We divided the day into 3-hour care, and moms could come in, and some of them were just breastfeeding their children, and it was fantastic. It really, we never ever had any incident or anything unusual to report. We're really safety oriented, and it was wonderful. Children had a good time. Workers had an amazing time as well. The next one, okay, so this is from our lovely Nestworks event. So Madeline Shaw, you will meet her really soon. She's a guest speaker today. So this is an event that Madeline was hosting, and Nestwork were hosting in Chinatown. So they had it's kind of like an apartment suite, and they had a community working space for parents, and they needed the children to be kind of like in the living room area. And they rented this space, and I went and I assessed the room again, and everything was fine. So we removed the things we consider were not suitable for children. And then we went there and we set up the room, and we provided care while the parents were attending the event, and everything was wonderful. Okay, so.
Over to Erica.
Results from the question.
Those are coming later. We're going to pass it over to Erica.
Okay. Awesome.
First. Where is she? Oh, and you're muted. There we go.
Hello, everybody. Now we're gonna have how many hours of the childcare has Popo Childcare provided. Let me check what is happening. Okay, that's. Everybody knows that we have 1,436 around events. Hours, we have the 22 events, and we're providing 2074 children. We was really happy that we employed 29 immigrant women. That usually before the COVID, we have sometimes in PIRS we have a staff that they working like 5, 10, 15 hours, and in this time we increase the hours for the staff, and sometimes we do it like the 25 or 35 hours, and they was really happy, and they was really professional with this, to doing this kind of the job. And you can see in there one of the studies playing the ukulele, and the kids, they are really engaged, and also she is really empathic with the children. And this is the quality that we provide in this pop-up childcare. And after that, we're thinking about for what do you think was the biggest challenge for the pop-up? Do you guess? Can you tell me something in the slide also, because we need to know what happened with the biggest challenge for pop-up, because in more when we have about for the pandemic, we canceled 13 events in 1 month, and we need to thinking about what is going to happen, no? Because everybody with the pandemic, we need to thinking about what is going to happen in different events. And we provide this. We try to do the marketing material, and Irina was the one person that she's doing our marketing material, and she designed this kind of material for the pop-up, and we start to send them emails for this with the customers to say, you know, we are in here and we need to move this forward, and we create guidelines for the training and everything for the pop-up, and we do now we have a substitute in the childcare events in Japanese, sorry. And we're providing like almost part-time with one student in the childcare in the Japanese. And also we are talking about for other services that we need to provide it because of the COVID. We cannot have any events, private events. And also in the settlement services, everything is online. And for the reason we need to check when is going to happen. And for this, we are doing now in the Japanese. And also we are talking about in different kind of the childcares and substitute, like many of them, they are overwhelming with the staff and they don't have the staff. And we have the staff and we have quality the staff and they are waiting for job, no? And we are starting to providing this kind of services in different areas and different childcares. We are trying and this is really working well now. What is, we need to share about what is happening. What do you think about the biggest challenge? Is okay, this is the connection already. Okay, we had a funding, like we noticed them sometimes we don't have of the settlement services. They say, you know, we want the services and everything, but we cannot offer no the payment because it's a little higher. And also we noticed that many of the participants, for example, SPAR, this is one of the external consultant that we have it. And they interview all of the participants for all the services, for the responsible adult, for the customers and everything. And they notice that some of the students, they say, you know, we want to go or we want to train in more for the ECE assistant or full ECE, but we don't have the money and we don't have the also the ability to get this income to pay, no? Because we don't have a lot of opportunities. And also we notice all other of the challenges that when we are approached to the people, then you know, we have a substitute the staff and that we can provide it for you, but some of them they have unionized. Like what does that mean? Then they have the regulations and we cannot enter in this kind of the field, no? Because they need to have all the participants or all the responsible adults, they are not allowed to working for more than 30 hours straight, no? And they offer more than for a full ECE instead of responsible adult. This is one of the challenges that we notice now. And we are fighting for, you know, to find some resources and to find some partnership to get more successful in there. And for my side, this is what working well. All the services, all the customer, they said, and they was really happy because we provide a professional hours and the staff that's really passionate with the work and everything. And also they say that this is like sometimes they take care of the headache, no? Like sometimes they don't have this the staff. And also they need to cover some shifts, and we send it to them, no? Then they are really happy to doing this. And also, if you can see, for example, in the website, we create a website, and this is, you can see this pop-up childcare. You can book it in there. If you have any needs in the childcare, you can book it in there. just only click it and we're gonna serve it to you. And also part of the funding we use it for online booking system, then it's more easy for us to check all the updates for the staff and, for example, of the certification, if they are updated and everything, because we need to be sure that all the staff, they need to have the CPR or first aid and food aid and everything in order to go in the field, no, in the childcare place. And now they're gonna pass it to Patricia, please.
Sorry. Thank you, Erica. Thank you for all those facts and what went well and challenges that we actually been through. I wanted to introduce, sorry. We have a question here, so you can actually, this is a little exercise for you. What's your favorite pop-up story? So if you can tell us in the chat, that will be great. What is your favorite pop-up story? And now I have the honor to introduce two guest speakers. The first one will be Madeline Shaw from Networks. Madeline is the founder and chief officer of Networks. So we want to welcome her and we really appreciate that you are here, Madeline. Go ahead.
Thanks, Patricia, and all of you. It's at PIRS. I'm very honored to be delighted. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Amazing. Okay, awesome. Oh, Zoom. Anyways, yeah, I'm just really delighted to share a few thoughts about our experience working with PIRS. As a bit of background, yeah, I'm the founder of Nestworks Workplace Society. Nestworks is a nonprofit, family-friendly co-working space concept that myself and our amazing board of directors, two of whom are on the call right now, we've been developing this off the side of our desks since early 2017. So we're a group of parents, moms, who have experienced either being entrepreneurs or just the challenges of childcare and life, and everybody on this call knows all about what I'm talking about. So anyways, we thought it would be interesting to combine the concept of a workplace that welcomed children and that had a general sort of family-friendly kind of energy to it. So we've been working on our business plan for a few years now, and with a series of community engagement events. And then we heard about PIRS and the pop-up childcare offering, and we were like, this is perfect for us. This is amazing, because we obviously, you know, it's a big concept to prove. And so we wanted to get, you know, user experience to understand, like, does this concept of a family-friendly co-working actually have legs in Vancouver? And so we had our first pop-up event in late February, which of course everybody knows was right on the cusp of COVID. But we had such a great event with PIRS as our partners. It was a huge success. And we are very eager to resume our pop-up events as in addition to pursuing opening our first location in 2022. So at Nestworks, and part of this is why we're such a great fit with PIRS, is that our philosophy is that rather than seeking work-life balance, this kind of tricky concept, we're interested in what we call work-life integration, and also a concept that we call re-villaging. So basically, reimagining this kind of artificial separation that we've created between our personal and our family lives and our work lives, and seeking through integrating them, making them more easeful. You know, how can this be easier for families to be more connected to one another, and also, not to mention, making it easier to pursue diverse earning opportunities, especially as we come out of COVID. So we need innovative solutions now more than ever, and in order to support economic recovery. So, you know, this is what this whole childcare thing is about, is allowing parents to be able to earn, to be able to support their families. And the trends that we're observing most closely that are aligned with what we're doing are the continued rise of the gig economy, women's entrepreneurship, and of course, remote work. Quality, flexible childcare is an essential pillar to all of this, especially for women. Another aspect that makes me incredibly proud to have PRS as a partner is their unique ECE training program that equips new Canadian women with valuable skills. They were so great to work with. I loved every single thing, every interaction we had with every member of the PIRS team, from the administrators, Patricia, Erica, right on through to the ECEs themselves. Their professionalism, their enthusiasm, their genuine love and care for the work that they were doing was absolutely apparent from start to finish. And we would be delighted to work with them again. The other thing that that this experience opened my eyes up was how it was mentioned earlier, how ECEs are ironically undervalued in the conversation about childcare, since they're the ones who are providing it. And we want to use our platform to elevate and include more diverse voices in the childcare conversation, in addition to those of parents, operators, regulators, and of course, children. So that's it from me. Thank you so much for inviting me. I can't wait to see your continued growth and success, and to continue working with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madeline. Beautiful words. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Now I have the privilege to introduce you with a dear friend, partner, special guest, Honorio Guerrero from Kiwasa. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. JR, we all know him as JR. Hello, JR.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much, Patricia, for the warm introduction. I'm very privileged to be part of this group and been asked to provide testimony and share my story. My name is Honorio J.R. Guerrero. I originally came from the Philippines over 20 years ago. I've worked in social services for about 15, 17 years, of the last 5 years of which has been mostly in careers in employment. So I work out of a Kiwasa neighborhood house. And if people are not very familiar, Kiwasa actually does not belong with the Association of Neighborhood Houses. We're independent of the Association of Neighborhood Houses. So our resources are different from those who belong to ANH. I run a program called Empower. And Empower is a program specifically targeted for those who self-identify as survivors of violence, abuse, and trauma. And you would imagine that the demographics of this population are mostly women. But when we received our funding from the Ministry of Advanced Education, Skills and Training, they didn't really set a parameter of the gender of who we're serving. But as soon as we started running the program for a first and second cohort, for example, in 2019, there were a few men who joined the program. And but what we've seen with those who enter our doors are those who self-identify as have experienced domestic abuse and domestic violence, for example, those who also came from war-torn nations, for example, as refugees and immigrants, as well those who are survivors of health as well. Empower program is a three-pronged. If you notice, if you've seen some of our flyers, there's actually a number 3 in the word empower, and the 3 represent the 3 different themes that we provide to our participants. One is a job search, because it's a job readiness employment training program. So we provide skills in cover letter writing, resume writing, etc., etc. We also provide number 2 as career exploration. So in the beginning, our first 2 cohorts were made up of different professions and different job targets that our participants carry with them. So they range from wanting to be admin assistants, they want to be flaggers or security people, social service worker, and a few child care workers. In January of 2020, that's when we met and we came across PIRS. through our then Settlement and Employment Director, Gulalai, who introduced us to Patricia and to Martha. And that became the very beginning of our interaction with PIRS in early 2020. I feel that I am personally part of PIRS because I engage with Erica, with admin support. I engage with Mariam, with revising contracts and that sort of thing. I engage with Martha in connecting with employers and external. And I engage with Patricia as well, because she was the one who brought her childcare workers, her ECEs and ECAs and RAs over to our place, Kiwasa Neighborhood Houses. So if you notice my background here, this is what Kiwasa looks like in the spring. I took a snapshot of this picture back in February. Or no, not in February, but in April, at the beginning of the lockdown. Because, okay, so this is a beautiful scene. I might as well take it. Little would I know that we would switch directly over to online training. And so in May, we started our training in Zoom video conferencing. But prior to that, in February is the first cohort that we began with PIRS, where we intake about 15 participants, and these 15 participants received training in responsible adult, which was delivered by PIRS instructor Cheryl Song, which Cheryl Song still continues to be part of Empower. And like recently, last week, she was able to give some time to us and provide some instruction, facilitation, what it looks like for those who wish to enter ECE, what it looks like on the ground. And we really, really appreciate that connection. Otherwise, with the PIRS and how we continued our engagement, we ran, how many cohorts was it, Erica? Maybe seven cohorts we've done together with Cheryl. And so PIRS and Kiwasa are partners to this program. We're not only partners, but we're also employers, because before COVID, we also hired PIRS Pop-Up to provide childcare to our participants' children. When we used to, remember that time when we used to gather together? It was only about a year ago that we were able to gather. And so we would gather our students, our participants of over 13, 14, and they would bring their children, and Patricia will come over and drop off the games, the toys, and the workers, and we would set up a room. It was in the beginning kind of tricky to kind of navigate how our work would pan out, but in the end, it worked out seamlessly, very nicely for us and for Kiwasa, or for Kiwasa and for PIRS. Now, we have recently done a couple cohorts with Capilano University. And so I do understand that some of the discussions earlier about what Erica mentioned earlier about, it seems like some of the challenges, for example, of childcare settings needing more ECEAs than RAs, for example. And so that's how we kind of switched over to ECEA, and luckily we were able to find an institution who provided us with that training with ECE.
Thank you so much, Jer. Sorry, I don't want to take your time, but I know the
Okay.
time is limited. No, just you continue, just to let you know that we have the other speakers coming up soon too.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you I actually timed myself, but I was late in timing myself.
That's okay. You're speaking nicely.
And so,
so much.
we're rounding up our cohort, our current cohort, and there's 13 of them who are finishing, and so we're sending them off for a volunteer placement. And mind you, there's only a few places who are accepting volunteer placement, so we're moving in snail space, but we are still moving. We are also keeping our sites and re-engaging with PIRS come March, come April or May. Thank you once again for a wonderful showcase. I really love your work, and we will continue to engage with each other. Thank you, everyone.
So much, JR. Beautiful words, and you display all the events so nicely. I just have such a fresh memory, and I miss those times of visiting Kiwasa and setting up spaces. Thank you. So I have a pleasure right now to introduce two special graduates. They're representing their class. So the first one will be Connie. We call her Connie. Her name is Concepcion Tavera. She's an ECE assistant teacher, and she graduated at VCC in our first cohort that we did back in 2019. So Connie, you can go ahead. You're muted. Yeah, Connie, you have to take the mute off your microphone. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
Can you
Connie.
hear now?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Miss Patty. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Concepcion Tavera, an immigrant woman from Philippines. I am a single mom, and I was working as a live-in caregiver before I became ECEA. As a mom, it is not easy for me to raise my children alone. My salary was not enough to support my family back home. Time came that I was thinking rather to upgrade my job in any ways. During that time, I was involved and participate in the community through settlement services Collingwood Never House. Through them, I know that PIRS is offering a free training program for immigrants women in the early learning sector. I was so happy and excited. I heard about it. I quickly registered and complied all the requirements needed. The applicants were overwhelming. There were 300 applicants who applied, but only 16 got chosen, and I was one of them. I feel very fortunate that I got this opportunity to fulfill my dream and have a better and more reliable job because ECEA is always in demand. PIRS staff are giving us all full support during our studies. This training program is so amazing that we students had a chance to improve our English skills. And we also had courses like responsible adult, food and safety, first aid, health, safety and nutrition, and many more. And also it is wonderful that PIRS provide us a free child minding and giving us a free TransLink bus pass in the entire program. It is an awesome feeling. It is an awesome feeling that I get full ECEA diploma and have a province certificate. Now I am aiming to upgrade it to become a fully ECE in any chance. After all this hard work, I got a full-time job at Montessori Preschool. At the time, I was hired by PIRS for the part-time job in different event and different organizations like YWCA, ISS, OBC, and etc. for an extra income. PIRS team are untiringly checking me and my classmates to ensure that we are employed. That's so amazing. I feel very grateful. I'm hoping that this free training program of PIRS will still continue to help immigrants women like me who cannot afford to study because of financial problems. And many of them are waiting to get in this program or looking for an opportunity to continue to upgrade to a full diploma of ECE. I want to say thank you to all PIRS team for giving me this opportunity for making my life better now. It was an awesome transformation of my life. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Patricia.
Oh, thank you, Connie. What a beautiful words. And with
Thank you.
words we can see the circle of events that I was talking about. So that's what is this all about. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Now I
Very
have a
much
picture.
welcome. I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate for having here today.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. We're really happy that we helped. So now I have the pleasure to introduce another graduate, former graduate from our online cohort. Her name is Rosie Olema. And Rosie, welcome.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to my kitchen. As all my former classmates did for the duration of our program in December. It's an amazing pleasure and honor to be in this call. My head has just exploded with so much information that I have to dig in after this. I know it didn't explode, honey, that's my son on the back. So I just want to share with you, it didn't explode. So I would like to share 3 things with you. And it's how it was just a saying, honey. So just how much on a personal level, the Responsible Adult program has helped me. And as you can tell, I have a 4-year-old son in the house and going through preschool. So during this program, I had to go through the process of how to get him in the school, what was happening, and I was very scared. I'm an immigrant woman who maybe Canadian process of education is a little confusing to me. So the fact that I went through this program during this time, it was a really big help. It also helped me once my child was going to school, how to ask teachers if he encountered problems, which he did, and how to find more help, like BC Center for Ability and other places. So it just opened doors that I had no idea the government had for us as parents and had for me as a professional. So as a professional, as I said, like as a mom, I started to get more into how my child learns. How can I help him? How can I even help my community? Because I always like to be involved with my community. And I started volunteering at Frog Hollow Community Neighborhood House and a Spanish group, which I'm very excited. We're doing Papa Chow maybe in Spanish or other languages. I'm very excited. And I was terrified. I'm like, what if something happens? I'm a very overprotective mother. So you can only imagine how it could be to leave my child with a stranger and my only child. So going through this program, I realized how important it is to educate and the person who's going to be taking care of the children. How important it is to, as parents, know that there's education behind that person that is going to take care of your child. And the love that is shared. Like this program pretty much let us, all 26 women, know if you want to be involved in this, this is what can happen, and are you ready? And all of us were very, very excited to dig in and learn, and more than anything, start our own community. This program developed a really beautiful, collaborative and diverse community that we're still in touch by WhatsApp. And if anything that I have a project in mind, or during my volunteering in Spanish group via Zoom, I want to do something with the children, I can talk to maybe my peers and figure out other ways, have questions. Just, it's an amazing result from what I've experienced. And the last thing that I would like to express, and it's I'm so glad I was here to hear Gita, I think, to hear all the story and the amazing job that Peers and Mosaic has done for immigrant women. And please, let's keep the good work for these children and our future.
Make more.
Thank you so much.
Make more.
Thank you for those words, and we're happy that we've been helpful in your journey. Thank you so much. We can see that you're doing fabulous. Now I will pass it to Erica. She's going to introduce Sharon Gregson.
You're muted, Erica.
You're muted, Erica.
Hello, it's my pleasure to introduce Sharon Gregson, is the provincial spokesperson for the successful 10 a Day childcare campaign, working with the coalition of the childcare advocate for BC of BC. Thank you, Sharon, for coming, and please.
And you're also on mute, Sharon.
There we go. So I'm hoping you can see my screen. Yes, good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Annalise. I see you nodding. So thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm going to be pretty quick because I know your time is short and there's so many fascinating and interesting and celebratory pieces to get to today. So I want to share a little bit about some of the advocacy that's happening across the province, specifically around childcare. And I work with the Coalition of Childcare Advocates of BC, and along with our partners, the Early Childhood Educators of BC, in 2011, we launched the 10 a Day plan. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. If I can get my screen to move. There we go. So probably everybody on this call knows that there's a childcare problem in our province and across most of our country. In British Columbia, we have now close to 600,000 children ages 0 to 12. Most of those mothers of those children are in the paid workforce, but we only have enough licensed childcare for about 20% of children. That's in center-based care and licensed family care. And most of that childcare is between Monday to Friday and 8 to 5. So it doesn't really suit people who work shift work or who have precarious work or part-time work. And most licensed childcare is unaffordable for working families. So it's not unusual in Vancouver or large urban areas to still have fees that are up to $1,500 a month for infants, $1,000 a month even for 3 to 5 year olds. And in some places in Vancouver, the fees are for one child over $2,600 a month. So out of range for many, many families. Another big problem is the recruitment and retention of early childhood educators. There is a massive shortage of qualified ECEs, and across the province, there are some spaces that are closing because they don't have qualified staff to work in those programs. And the fundamental reason is that the wages that are typically paid by organizations to early childhood educators are not commensurate with the level of responsibility and some of the education and training that's been referenced today. That's why in 2011, we launched the 10 a Day plan. And in a nutshell, of course, there's much more to it than just these highlights, but in a nutshell, we're calling for new public funding to cap parent fees to a maximum of $10 a day for a full-time space, or $7 a day for a part-time space, And for families who are low income, there would be no user fee at all if your annual income is less than $45,000 a year. And importantly for this conversation, we're calling for an improvement to wages and education for ECEs, a starting wage of $20 an hour for assistants in all programs, for qualified ECEs at $26 an hour, and for ECEs who have their infant toddler or special needs designation, it would be $29 an hour. And we're calling for enough licensed programs for all children whose parents choose to use childcare. So support for Tenaday is huge across the province, which is why politically now the major political parties in our province have committed to Tenaday. So we've got now 65 local governments across the province, including Vancouver and many other Metro Vancouver municipalities have endorsed the Tenaday plan. The majority of school districts across the province, credit unions, chambers of commerce, Union of BC Indian Chiefs, many, many others. And there's a petition which individuals can sign, and over 20,000 people have signed that petition now. There's been polling done across the province, and we know that 90% of British Columbians agree that public investments in a quality, affordable childcare system are important. And for people with young children, they have said that 2 out of 3 of them have said that the investments the government is starting to make in childcare is having a positive impact on their personal situation. So we've seen some recent investments since 2018 in childcare in BC. Qualified ECEs are receiving a $2 an hour wage top up. There are $10 a day prototype sites across the province. Over 20,000 new licensed spaces have been funded by the provincial government. And since the last election in October, childcare is now considered part of public infrastructure building, capital infrastructure expansion, which is very good news. It's now easier for school districts to operate their own childcare programs. Parent fees have been reduced for over 61,000 families since April 2018. And since that time, over 32,000 children across BC have had their fees reduced to 10 a day or less. So we've got so much more work to do in this province, but we are heading in the right direction. And Prime Minister Trudeau, he's got much shorter hair in this picture than he does today, and Federal Minister Hussen have committed to significant long-term sustained investment to create a Canada-wide early learning and childcare system. That was just in their federal financial update. So we're expecting to see a large infusion of federal dollars into childcare across the country. So what we're calling for is expanding the number of Tenaday sites across the province and capping parent fees. We're calling for a publicly funded province-wide wage grid for early childhood educators and to create more childcare spaces through public infrastructure investments. So in a nutshell for this conversation, we know that a childcare system depends on qualified and well-compensated ECEs, that sadly ECEs in Canada generally earn low wages, and so a competitive publicly funded ECE wage grid is key to solving the ECE shortage, and the government should build on best practices, should integrate policy and funding to create that new childcare system, and importantly, recognize staff qualifications and experience and set and maintain competitive wages. So you might be wondering what you can do as an advocate for quality childcare. Well, you could sign the petition at tenaday.ca. As an individual, you can join the Coalition of Childcare Advocates. We have an International Women's Day event coming up on March 7th, which I can post in the chat, and you're welcome to attend online. You can talk to everybody you know about childcare. And federally, there's a national petition you can sign, childcareforall.ca, and there's a budget consultation survey that the federal government is asking you to fill out so that you can tell them that you want them to invest in childcare. And if you have your phone with you, you can even text the word sign to this number, and you can automatically add your name as a supporter of the $10 a day childcare plan. So that's a pretty quick overview of the Tenaday plan and the work that we're doing right now, particularly as it relates to the ECE workforce.
Thank you so much, Sharon. It's amazing to get this provincial and federal view on these issues and the amazing work that you're championing. It's inspiring. It's something I've been hearing about, you know, a lot in all sorts of different circles, and it's really great to see the connections and ties between the work that Pop-Up is doing and the work that you're doing, and how these can both complement and support one another. So I know I've already signed and will continue to promote this work, but encourage everybody else to do the same. So we are have just had a slew of amazing speakers. I feel so honored to be sharing the stage with all of these individuals and hearing the stories of the impact that Pop-Up has had through the training, through the childcare services, and really through the innovative approach that they're taking to addressing this crucial challenge in our society. So the current work of Pop-Up is funded until the end of March through IRCC, but we are not letting it go down without a fight. We will keep this program going no matter what we can do. So we've put in some funding applications, and we're looking at various ways that we can keep the program running. You know, this is hopefully a social enterprise that can be thriving and sustaining itself, but also in the time of COVID, that becomes really challenging. So we're eager to find different creative ways that we can keep building partners, working with other programs, and carrying the work forward. So yeah, the next phase is also about kind of challenging this broader tension that we are seeing as a bit of a tug of war, where the one side is pulling for decent wages for childcare workers and really valuing the incredible role that they're playing in our society and educating and supporting and developing our children, but also supporting families and especially mothers to carry on their work and their role in society. So there's that pull on ensuring that decent wage for the childcare workers. And then on the other side, it's affordability for settlement agencies, nonprofits, families to be able to access this care. So we want quality care, we want accessible care, we want great pay for childcare workers, and we need to kind of fill that gap somewhere and somehow. So we have an activity to kind of tap on your creativity and connections to ensure the long-term success of Pop-Up childcare, and really ask ourselves, you know, what kind of programs or opportunities should we consider? What does Pop-Up in the 10-a-day world look like? How can we build on the success of this program and include alternative non-licensed childcare options like Pop-Up? And then lastly, from a childcare for settlement agencies standpoint, what is your appetite for outsourcing childcare services if you are a settlement agency, and what are specific hurdles that you face? Would you be supportive of centralizing that childcare and having Pop-Up and PIRS be the one providing that care? So we have a form that you can add your answers to. We're going to play a song while you're filling out that form, and then afterwards I'll introduce Thea from the Learning Journeys program, who's going to share a video about their work that ties this all together. So let's see if we can cue the music. Oh, there we go. Have a little dance party. Break as well, so if you need a couple of minutes to just move and groove, take a moment. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and sing. We are family. I got all my sisters with me. We are family. Get up, everybody, and say.
to get our share of this world's delight. High hopes we had for the future and our goals in sight. We don't get depressed. Here's what we call our golden rule. Have faith in you and the things you do. You won't go wrong. Oh no, this is our family jewel. We are family. Sing it to me. I got all my sisters and me.
Thanks for everybody's contributions. We're gonna, yeah, awesome. Hope people got a little bit of grooving in there, and shared some of their thoughts in the forum. We saw some ideas coming through in the chat and some entries coming through on the forum, so that's great. And you'll have that link afterwards to be able to share other ideas as well if you have them. But for now, I want to introduce Thea. So Thea is a mom of two, 5-year-old Izel and 3-year-old Dre. She's a Filipina international nurse from Dubai, an entrepreneur and a child advocate for the past 2 years. Her family moved to BC over 3 years ago. Her passion for childcare advocacy is rooted from lived experience of the challenges and strengths. And she's here with us to introduce you with a video from the work of the Learning Journeys program that was also a PIRS initiative. So I'm going to find Thea here. There she is. Great. So the floor is yours, Thea. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Annalise. Thank you for that introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Again, my name is Thea Lopez. 2 years ago, my career coach from Douglas College sent me an email. It mentioned a call for interest for immigrant volunteers to join a government-funded research by Pacific Immigrant Resources Society called Learning Journeys. I had absolutely no clue whatsoever of what I was getting into. But one thing is for sure, I was a lonely immigrant. I had limited community and I had lost the sense of belongingness and honestly, I was in need of a worthwhile distraction. My husband was doing his upgrading as a nurse, and I had to step back to take care of the kids. With no expectations, I was in a room full of new faces of immigrant women, and all I have was 2 things: the ability to talk and my experience. I find it very much important to have immigrant and refugee women's voices to be heard and acknowledged and empowered. We speak of our challenges, and it is just fit that we ourselves navigate for solutions. We utilize our strengths as our approach, our core, and our mantra. We made projects, I made friends. We made plans for change, I made memories, enriched my skills, and made precious connections. 3 projects established. Those are childcare for immigrant women, holistic approaches to mentorship, and Let's Talk. Projects address key challenges of immigrant women in their success to this new place we call home. As we immersed in our projects, we have developed so many life skills that were once unknown as such, being a mentor to our peers, volunteerism, perseverance, public speaking, patriotism, and so much more. This indeed shall be an indelible mark that we shall bring moving forward. We found our place in society, and we are part of this land. We belong. Today, I feel like I'm graduating, and this is our culminating activity to pass our yearbook, which is Childcare for Immigrant Women by Immigrant Women Advisory Committee, to your hands, dear advocates. I am personally proud to be here in this moment. One day, I shall say to my kids, Mama was part of this movement. Mama was part of this change. So without further ado, the Childcare for Immigrant Women short film.
Hi, I am Emine. I have one son. His name is Adam, and he's 2.5 years old. His favorite activities are playing in the water and going to the playground.
I have one baby boy. His name is Nicholas. He's 9 months old. He loves to play with a musical teddy bear.
I have one daughter. Her name is Hargan Kaur. She is 2.5 years old. Hargan loves to watch Masha and Bear. Her favorite toy is Minnie Mouse.
I have two beautiful kids. My eldest, she is 5 years old. Her name is Aizel. And my youngest is Dre. He is 3 years old. Both of them, they are so in love with the snow.
ਹੈਲੋ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਪਰਮਿੰਦਰ ਕੌਰ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੇਟੇ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਇਵਾਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਉਹ 3.5 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਆ ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਗੇਮਾਂ ਖੇਡਣ ਦਾ ਦੇਖਣ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ੌਂਕ ਆ ਸਪਾਈਡਰਮੈਨ ਵਾਲੀ ਉਹਦੀ ਫੇਵਰੇਟ ਗੇਮ ਆ ਉਹ 3.5 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਆ ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਗੇਮਾਂ ਖੇਡਣ ਦਾ ਦੇਖਣ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ੌਂਕ ਆ ਸਪਾਈਡਰਮੈਨ ਵਾਲੀ
There had to be some technical difficulties, you know? Nothing could go absolutely.
Me and my husband are both teachers. We landed Hi, I am Emine. I have one son. His name is Adam, and he's 2.5 years old. His favorite activities are playing in the water and going to the playground.
I have one baby boy. His name is Nicholas. He's 9 months old. He loves to play with a musical teddy bear.
I have one daughter. Her name is Hargan Kaur. She is 2.5 years old. Hargan loves to watch Masha and Bear. Her favorite toy is Minnie Mouse.
I have two beautiful kids. My eldest, she is 5 years old. Her name is Aizel. And my youngest is Dre. He is 3 years old. Both of them, they are so in love with the snow.
ਹੈਲੋ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਨਾਮ ਪਰਮਿੰਦਰ ਕੌਰ ਮੇਰੇ ਬੇਟੇ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਇਵਾਨ ਸਿੰਘ ਉਹ 3.5 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਆ ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਗੇਮਾਂ ਖੇਡਣ ਦਾ ਦੇਖਣ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਸ਼ੌਂਕ ਆ ਸਪਾਈਡਰਮੈਨ ਵਾਲੀ ਉਹਦੀ ਫੇਵਰੇਟ ਗੇਮ ਆ
Me and my husband are both teachers. We landed to Canada on June 2nd, 2017. After arriving and seeing the cultural richness, we decided to stay here.
We came to Canada because I was doing my research project for my PhD nursing, and a new BC professor accepted to supervise me for my research.
I come to Canada with so many dreams about my future, my career, and family.
We chose Canada because we believe that Canada is a safe place to raise our kids, very good education, very good healthcare, and we thought it's a land of opportunity being nurses.
ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਮੈਂ 2012 ਵਿੱਚ ਆਈ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਨਾਲ ਆਈ ਸੀਗੀ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਬਾਰੇ ਮੈਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ, ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣੀ ਕੰਟਰੀ ਆ, ਇੱਥੇ ਰਹਿ ਕੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣੇ ਮਤਲਬ ਆਪਣੇ ਸੁਪਨੇ ਸਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਸੁਪਨੇ ਪੂਰੇ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਹੱਥੀਂ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਕਰਕੇ।
I started the process of getting my professional teaching certificate, and I am still working on it.
I am a healthcare aide. I'm currently at home with my baby because I have no support to go back to work now. We don't have any families here, and I cannot leave him at a daycare.
I am IT professional and struggling to get some work in this sector. I am looking for a job and doing some training so that I can upgrade my study.
I'm studying my re-entry program for nursing. I'm already on the 3rd semester. This is a 4-year journey for me to reach my professional goal.
ਫਿਲਹਾਲ ਹੁਣ ਮੈਂ ਘਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਰਹਿ ਰਹੀ ਹਾਂ ਬੱਚੇ ਨਾਲ। ਬੱਚੇ ਦਾ ਸਹਾਰਾ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਹੀ ਹਾਂ ਹੁਣ ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੇ। ਇੱਥੇ ਕੰਮ ਮੈਂ ਕਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੀ, ਬਾਹਰ ਮੈਂ ਜਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੀ ਕਿਤੇ।
It is hard to start over and not being recognized what you have done earlier coming to Canada. The long waiting lists for daycares and not having a good paying job makes it harder for us to put our son into daycare. The money I would get from a part-time job wouldn't even cover the daycare expenses, not to mention being separated from your little one.
I feel I am an asset and I am being underutilized. I want to make a contribution as a taxpayer to the economy. I am ready to do that, but I'm not able to.
My father had big dreams for me. He supported me to get high education. In our community, usually girls are not encouraged to get high education or even work. He passed away a few years back. I want to fulfill his dreams.
When we came here to Canada, we enlisted our daughter and my unborn child to the most accessible childcare we can find in the Lower Mainland. At that time, my daughter was about 360 plus in the list. Should I have had access to affordable, quality, and accessible childcare in the beginning, I could have been working alongside my husband as a nurse, as a frontliner in these pandemic times.
And when people can't access childcare, right, they lose out. The economy loses out, their families lose out. It impacts people's health, their well-being, their income, and for their children, it impacts their college graduation rates, employment outcomes, and income for the family. So ensuring all families, including immigrant families, have access to affordable childcare is so important. It makes our economy stronger, and it makes people's lives better.
My son is becoming more independent, which will make it easier for him to go to daycare. I hope to get certified soon so that we will take a deep breath from all the expenses. This is our home and we have dreams here.
I would love to afford a daycare, to have time to upgrade my studies and work full time.
Vancouver is very expensive city. I want to work so I can support my family financially and make my father proud.
We can improve things. Mothers can be a professional and be the best mom they can be, and we don't need to choose either or.
Skilled immigrant women, educators like Hermine, or highly qualified nurses like Camilla and Thea are untapped talent. Their skills cannot be mobilized because of lack of childcare. Not paying attention to the human cost of isolated and unfulfilled mothers is an injustice and a detriment to our society. Depression of parents and loneliness, particularly mothers, affect the well-being and families, especially children. Our society can do better. You can take action by adding your voice to 10 a day, which is a province-wide call for affordable and quality childcare system here in BC. You can sign their petition online. You can also support initiatives such as Pop-Up Childcare, which is a women-run social enterprise, employing and building the capacity of newcomer women to be educators like Hermine, while also offering pop-up childcare services to individuals and organizations. We can do better. We envision a vibrant society, inclusive society, where women will shine to their full potential.
What an amazing way to cap off an amazing event. We have heard so many stories today, so much impact that has been made, but also so much more that is still to come. So we're incredibly grateful for your time, your energy, your passion today. We put some links into the chat to kind of follow the work of Pop-Up Childcare, and we really hope to stay connected with all of you and hope that you will share this work. Thank you so much, Thea, for joining us. Thank you so much to all of our guest speakers. This is the video or the website that shows the journey of Pop-Up. There's so many amazing people behind this work. There's been so much energy shared today, and we're really excited for the next phase of this journey because we're certain that it's not the end. So thank you so much for joining us and everyone behind the scenes who made this event happen as well. We look forward to connecting with you again. Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thank you, this is when the We Are Family song should come back on.
Well done. Very interesting.
Thank you. Take care.
Hi, Marianne.
Are we sharing the website, Emily?
You're muted. I thought that was you. I couldn't tell for sure.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was me. Yes, it was me. I enjoyed your presentation.
Thank you so much for
Look
joining
forward to
us.
being in touch.
Yes, absolutely.